live. We're live. We're live. You guys hear me? Hello? Check, check. Hello in the chat. Type hello in the chat. Let me know if you guys can see me, hear me. I'm assuming you can. It seems like my mic is registering here on OBS. Good morning. In drive, Ralph, you hear me? Yeah, okay, cool. All right, guys, nice. The VolPro Edge website's coming together. Hey, Cam, what's up, man? So I spent some time working on this weekend. I kind of, there's still a lot more I got to do, but I like it. It's clean, Some of you guys are here with some testimonials. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. We still got a lot more to do, though. Hope you guys are digging it. All right, so we will get started. I said 9:15. Technically, that's 55 seconds from now, so let's go ahead and wait 55 seconds. Yeah, Cam, we can work on your reversals this week. You guys are going to learn a lot now every day, especially as we focus on different setups for the playbook. So this week will be congestion week. I started with congestion week because markets are more often congesting than anything else. So if you can master congestion, you can make a lot of money, and then you don't have to do anything else. Just be a congestion expert. And then if you want to move on to trading, trend reversals, exhausts, congestion entrance, congestion exit, only opposite trades. I mean, the extent to which you can customize the playbook for yourself is kind of endless. So I'm just gonna bombard you guys with really good playbook setups for the next several weeks. And then after we have our special themed weeks, that's when you guys will see what type of trading you want to focus on to start. And it's not a bad idea to start by focusing on one type of trading, right? You don't need to be a master of all trades in the beginning. There are plenty of congestion setups every day if you just scroll through all the markets and you want to use the hourly chart. Now, that's not the kind of trader I am, but that doesn't mean, you can't be that type of trader. So I want to just throw the whole playbook at you guys and get you started. And so we'll start with congestion week, and we will start in 10 seconds. I'm giving everybody a chance to be here at 9:15 when we said we'd start. And hopefully John G can comment today. I turned subscriber mode off, so I'm hoping he doesn't have a problem. All right. So you guys have my end of day analysis. I don't really need to rehash that, right? If you guys have any questions about the end of day analysis, let me know. But basically the way we're going to run congestion week is I thought of a good way to run it on my Tradeifys, okay? So instead of copy trading, because when you copy trade, like for example, we're going to find congestion setups. We might find a congestion setup on platinum today or on, let's say the Ultra Bond or something like that, right? And there's no micro contract for that. So I can't be trading, and I want to trade these trades live with you guys. I'm going to teach you by placing these trades on my Tradeify accounts. But since I need to be able to manage the risk, so I'm just going to do it one account at a time. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to trade full contracts here, no micros, only full contracts on the Tradeifys. So like trade number one, whatever that'll be, whatever congestion trade number one is, we will just put that on my account number 10. I'll put, if it's platinum or whatever, I'll punch it in here, put in my brackets, boom, that'll be that trade on account number 10. And then I'm going to go to account number 11 for the next trade, and account number 12. I'm going to rotate like that around for each account. So then that way we see where these accounts are at the end of, the next few weeks. When we've done congestion week, we'll see, we'll take a vote on what we want week number 2 to be. So I will be taking all these trades with you guys on these Tradeify accounts. Does that make sense? And does that make sense why I'm not doing micros is because I can't be like, oh, well, and if I, the reason I'm not copy trading them is because if I copy trade him, I have $6,000 in risk. Well, I have actually a little less than that now, but basically 6,000 in risk, right? So if you're trading full contracts, you know, on NQ and you have $6,000 in risk, I mean, one decent loss, you're down $1,000. You know, that's too much over leverage, right? So whereas if I do it account by account by account, that means I've got 5 accounts times $6,000 in drawdown. Then I actually have $30,000 in drawdown, right? So then I'm spreading out the risk by doing it this way. Then I can trade full contracts. So I hope that makes sense. Good morning, Miyagi. Welcome. All right, so let's get started. ES, I don't know if there's anybody in the Discord waiting for us, but I announced, hopefully you guys have your notifications on. I announced that we'd be here. So it is 9:18 a.m. And what we want to do is start by scrolling through these markets and look at the 9 a.m. hourly bar, because that's the last hourly bar that closed. So that's the one we're working off of, right? We want to work on hourly closes for congestion. We're looking for congestion setups, okay? So to me, even though the hourly here on ES is technically in congestion, there's no pattern here. We're closing above all these congestion DMLs. I wouldn't take that. Let's look at Nasdaq. Same thing. Nasdaq's technically in congestion here, but you can see we pushed. We had a close here above these highs, way above all this here, all these DMLs. So that's not a congestion trade you want to take, right? Because in congestion, guys, to be clear, we're looking to play the range. So we want to short here and long here. That's the name of the game, right? That's all we're looking at this week is congestion. We're not looking for congestion exit. We're not looking for reversals, none of that. So I'm just going to look at these and go, well, I don't want to take that congestion trade because number one, there's no pattern there. And number two, we're breaking all that. So that doesn't make sense to take that as a congestion trade, right? It's like, okay, well, should we go long, Andy? Well, you guys can do what you want, but I'm going to have to just teach congestion this week. So I need to go through all the markets here every hour and find something we like. So here's the Dow, same thing. You're in congestion. I don't see a pattern here that I like. I'm looking for congestion. I'm looking for clean pockets. I'm looking for, you know, DMLs that make sense on the hourly. And if I like everything I see on the hourly, then I'm going to plug it into here. Sorry, let me just adjust my charts here. I might have not even been looking at the hourly because I changed all these. Hang on. So then I'm plugging that into the daily and the weekly. Okay. So here we want the 15-minute here because I changed this to 4 charts. We want the hourly here. We want the daily. Probably have to start over, but that's fine. The daily is going to go here, and then we got the weekly there. Good. Okay, now we're where we want to be. So here's the hour. Yeah, we were looking at the hourly, so we're good. Just quickly. Yeah, that was ES hourly. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So Dow, here's the hourly, guys. So we look, you got to pick your, what I call the focus time frame, right? Your focus time frame. So right now, for the sake of teaching congestion week, the focus time frame is the hourly here. First, we need to find a congestion setup we like. Then we need to see, does it kind of fit in to what we think is happening on the daily, the weekly? And if the answers are, you know, hey, we like the congestion pattern on the hourly, yeah, it kind of fits in here. It's not too bad on the daily, the weekly. Boom, wait for the 15-minute to confirm, take the trade if it does. And just let the probabilities play out. That's what we're going to do. Sorry, it wasn't letting me comment. Okay, that's weird, Mindry, but now you can test, or you can comment. I can see your test comment, Ralph. I don't know what's going on with that. That's weird. All right, so that's how we're going to run congestion week. So let's look at the Russell. Look at the hourly. Well, guys, you tell me, is the Russell congesting? No. So we're going to ignore it. The 10-year Treasury, yeah, we're congesting technically because of that close there, but that's still too much of a trend. You know, it's looking like a trend for me there. So we'll not do that. There's the 30-year. See, you know, one week we'll do lightning flash week. Be like, oh, there's a lightning flash. Do we want to take that for a reversal? But this is not lightning flash week. So there's no congestion there. Let's go to the ultra bonds. No congestion there. Let's go to gold. So this is kind of what I thought could have happened in gold today. Like, I'm still very, very bullish, but it kind of felt like we might have needed a pullback. So And now we're getting that. How far are we going? I don't know. So gold is technically in congestion here, but if you look at, because we're looking back at the most recent close, 9 a.m. And then before 10 a.m., we'll look at all the markets on the 10 a.m. bar. But here on the 9 a.m. bar, what you can see is that, yeah, we're in congestion, right? Because here's your trend down earlier. So there's your trend down, right? Boom, there's congestion entrance. If that's congestion entrance, you guys know from the course. And guys, if you haven't watched, like if it's slow for you getting the concepts and you haven't watched the course 10 times, watch the course 10 times because it's repetition. It's going to get into your mind like this. And then the course will be reinforced here. And now we're going to develop your playbooks. We're going to be as, efficient as possible with our time here together every morning, New York, taking trades, making money, but we're going to do so focused and structured by developing your playbook 1 week at a time. This week is congestion week. So gold here, there's your congestion entrance bar. There's your congestion resistance high. There's your old trend support low. That is framing your congestion area. So then when you look at that 9 a.m. hourly close there, you say, well, gee, I'm generally bullish on gold. True, definitely, based on the higher time period charts. Well, we're in a pocket there. I may want to buy that. No, you don't, because you're breaking the extension DML. You're breaking these two congestion DMLs, right? So even though you've got this live congestion DML below you as support, I just wouldn't mess with this because we're looking at all the markets. So we don't need to force anything. Now, had this extension DML been down here underneath the hourly close, that would be a different story. That'd be one I'd be more willing to buy if the 15-minute confirmed, because you have a nicer structure on the hourly pattern for congestion, and we're bullish overall the daily and the weekly. So I hope that makes sense. What's up, Aaron? Good to have you here, man. Got your message. I'll send you a message later. Good to hear from you, dude. Yeah, so we're starting congestion week. We're off. We're running. So that's why I wouldn't take that, right? So let's go to silver. If you guys got questions at any time here, just pop them in the chat. So looking at silver hourly, there's the 9 a.m. Kind of similar here. You could say when that one closed, because remember, guys, we're doing this hour by hour, right? So we don't really know, now that we know that this is happening here for this 10 o'clock hour, well, at the 9 o'clock close here, we didn't know that was going to happen, right? So you want to pretend that you can't see that and say, well, there's the congestion, there's the original congestion support level. Here we expanded the congestion support level. There's our trend high up there. This is how we're framing our congestion. First we were there, right? And now we've expanded it to there, right? So right there, and then you look at this and go, okay, well, do I want to buy that right there? Well, if you watch my analysis from last night, which I think a lot of you did, you would know that I wouldn't be a huge fan of longing silver congestion today because of this flash on the daily, right? I think there's a potential with that flash that the daily on silver may want to end the day back down here. So therefore, if the hourly is going to do anything in terms of congestion exit, I would be betting heavily that we're going to exit congestion down. So I would be very, very careful trying to buy congestion support patterns, right? Does that make sense, you guys? So you start to see how I try to use these patterns to match all this up, right? And then what are we doing on the daily? So that's silver. We know we're not taking that right now. Let's go to copper. You guys, we're going to trade some wacky markets. We're going to find something that looks good, at least a couple times a day on some markets. And then I'll put them on the Tradeifys for you. You guys take them if you want. But the main thing here is to help you develop your playbook. And then as I'm teaching you the playbooks, I'm guessing we're going to get a few of these Tradeifys to pay out that will show you that the playbooks, they work when you use them correctly and when you're selective, right? So here's copper, the hourly here on copper. That was 9 a.m. You're in a pocket there. You've got these congestion DMLs right here. I wouldn't take copper long for the same reason that I wouldn't take silver, because of the flash on the daily. Right here, same thing, right? Yeah, we're pushing higher now, but you know, we got a lot of resistance up here. So I wouldn't want to be betting on that congestion support level. Now, that congestion support level might hold, you know, copper might push right back up here. I don't care. I just filter out the trades when I don't want them, but that doesn't mean that like I'm keeping an eye on this going, oh my God, I should have bought copper. No, I'm like, okay, I don't want it. I'm on to the next one. I'm on to the next one. And then the one that I mean, that's the one I focus on, right? So let's look at platinum. Platinum, we are not in congestion, so we ignore that because this is congestion week. I mean, guys, how many other YouTube channels and courses and that? How many have congestion week? It's pretty cool, right? We're setting a precedent. I like it. Getting off to the week with a good start. Excellent Costa Rican coffee. Let's look at light sweet crude. Here's crude oil hourly. There is your 9 a.m. close. Technically, at that point, we were trending. No congestion. But, you know, we're entering congestion now. So the 10 o'clock hour, this could be a potential trade if we like it. We'll just have to see. I don't want to pretend like I know where this is going to be at the 10 o'clock hour. But let's wait and see. Nat gas firing to the upside. I know that Scalper in the chat. I don't use your guys' real names just in case you don't want me to. So I just call you by your Discord name. Scalper, I think, made some money trading his system. I'm going to upload his videos, guys, to the members area later. He sent me like 3 videos on how he uses his system with the EMAs. And then he just uses VolPro Edge and DMLs to confirm or deny trades. And he's killing it. He's staying out of way more losers than before, and he's getting more winners. So I'm going to upload those because the more of you that have success and show your particular way of how you use VolPro Edge, and then you share it with the Discord community, everybody can benefit and learn, right? That might help. You know, somebody might have a really simple approach, like maybe Ralph's is something that like somebody else like, you know, Jay Stove can understand, and he'll be like, oh, cool. Now I can just monitor that and do that and start taking trades so you guys can, you know, help each other, which is awesome. So Scalper, I'm going to upload those videos later. All right. So the market's open, but I don't care because we're in congestion week and we already know that the Nasdaq did not have a congestion pattern I liked for right now. So we're just scrolling through these other markets because we got a lot to go through, right? So here's natural gas on the hourly trending up. We're not in congestion. We go to heating oil. No, this is the Harbor Blend. Sorry. This is gasoline. There's the 9 o'clock. Nice little extended flash there. Beautiful. We'll cover those in flash week, reversal week. That's a nice one right there for sure. Right there, bang, reversal back down. But this is congestion week, and that was not in congestion. On the gasoline, let's go to, oh no, that was heating oil. Sorry, I get it mixed up. Here's gasoline. It doesn't matter. It's the energy complex. Same thing, no congestion. Let's look at the euro. Wow, the dollar finally getting some strength. So that's why you're seeing gold and silver under pressure today. Dollar is finally catching a little bit of a bid, which is good for us. We get paid in dollars, right? So we want the dollar to catch a bid, don't we? I know Aaron, you want the dollar to catch a bid. I certainly do as well. Guys, Costa Rica, the exchange rate for it's called the Costa Rican colony. I mean, this currency is so strong against the dollar. I'm just like, some things just defy logic. Anyways, I'm rooting for a stronger dollar just selfishly because I get paid in dollars. Okay, so the euro trending down, no congestion. Let's look at the pound. I mean, I'm gonna call that a trend down. Let's look at the Swiss franc trend down. We can already see here. So dollar is strong across the board here. The CAD. Let's look at the odd. Tip our hat off to Aaron. The dollar's getting strong against the odd. Well, I guess you don't mind when, well, no, you get paid in dollars, don't you, Aaron? So you prefer a stronger dollar versus the odd, I would guess, right? Let's look at the New Zealand dollar trending. Remember, guys, we're staying focused. We're in congestion week, trending down. We're just eliminating. No, let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin was trending there, so nothing. We might be going for congestion entrance for the 10 o'clock hour. So remember, we're going to do this hour by hour by hour. So just wait for the setups to come. But for the 9 o'clock hour, which is what we're still working off of here, because that was the last close, there was nothing. Let's look at Ethereum. We'll start starting tomorrow. Well, today I started at 9:15 a.m. Eastern, but tomorrow we'll start, you know, just after 9, like, you know, maybe 9:05 or something, just so we're closer to that recent 9 a.m. hourly close, right? Here's Ethereum, 9 a.m. hourly close, trend up. It's clear to you guys, right, why I'm firing through these and just eliminating markets, and we're moving on to the next one, right? Let's look at corn. And corn, 9 a.m. hourly there. Congestion, that wasn't bad, to be honest, because you have a nice flash there. You're right at the congestion support level. You've got some nice DMLs here and here. The daily is bullish AF. The weekly was bullish AF. That was a good congestion trade right there on corn. You know, we didn't miss it. We missed it. It was further down our list, but I'm just showing you this as an example, right, of why you would have liked this. So if you liked that there at 9 a.m., then you would just wait right there. There's your 15-minute pocket. The extension DML holds. You're right at this live support DML. I mean, that's a beautiful long right there on corn, guys. Beautiful. Very low risk, too. Your stop on this would literally be just below the VolPro support reaction level here. Like, so almost no risk on that corn trade, and then bang. So those are the kind of trades we're looking for. They don't happen, you know, it doesn't work like this all the time, but right there on corn, that would have been a sweet trade. So nice. So this, we'll catch these when we start a little bit early, but this is good just to teach you guys what we like and why. So that's why corn would have been a good one there. You see, if we were watching the Nasdaq, we would never even know that corn triggered that great trade, right? So I think it's going to be a cool approach for our time together. Hey, Jose. Okay, cool, man. Glad it's making sense. So here's wheat. I wouldn't have liked that because of breaking through the extension. Corn looked a lot better, as you could see. Let's look at soybeans. Soybeans, you had, yeah, you're in congestion there, but you're kind of trending up, and look at this bullishness. You don't want to take these trades against the direction of the daily and the weekly, okay? Let's look at soybean oil. Nothing there. Soybean meal. Kind of the same thing. These are all bullish, so you wouldn't have taken the congestion short there. Corn was the best one so far that I've seen for the 9 o'clock hour. And I hope it's clear to you guys why. It's because the hourly looked fantastic. You had a flash pattern. The 15 confirmed it with a pocket. You had your extension DMLs holding on both. The daily super bullish. That's like a gift from the corn gods. Those are the trades you want. So MinDrive, once you cycle through, can you look at the NQ 8 a.m. bar for congestion entry long, just as an example? Sure, no problem. All right, let's look at cattle. These are tough because the trading day is like so short, but we will look at these anyways. Okay, trending, hogs. I mean, we're probably not going to trade the meats too much, but we'll still look. Okay, nothing. All right, so we cycled through everything. Now you can see going through all those futures markets, corn was the one for 9 a.m. without a doubt. That was a good trade. And guys, just because it worked this time, you know, this was a good example of it working, but you could also, I could look at this and go, hey, everything's perfect, and then you still take a small loss on that. That's okay too. It's just this one happened to be a good trade. Where would I have taken? You already know where I would have taken it and where I would have put my stop. That's pretty easy, right? Where would the profit have been? I would say probably right up in here around the hourly extension, congestion, envelope top, you know, something up in here, right? So on corn, that would have been entry at, like, let's just call it 487 or 486 3/4. And your target would have been like, you know, 489. So, you know, you'd have to probably throw on a few contracts to make that trade worth it on corn, because the contract is very small. It's, I believe, $50 per point, right? So that would have been, let's just call it like maybe that would have been $250. So yeah, maybe a few contracts, You got a $750 win there, 4 contracts, you got a $1,000 win. Because remember, your stop right there, you know, would have been probably on 4 contracts. Your stop would have been a couple $100. So it would have been like a 4-to-1 type of trade. Those are the kind of trades you want, right? Mm. And John G, if you're here, let me know if you can comment. I posted in the Discord. You can see that I took away. You don't have to be a subscriber to comment. So if you're still not able to comment, then there's definitely something going on with your YouTube. I don't know. So, because I really enjoy streaming like this on YouTube for now, because first of all, it's all members here, and second of all, like it just records it, throws it up to the channel. It's super easy to archive, and if you don't have the course and you don't have the indicators and whatever, then you know you can't really use any of this anyways. So I don't mind like sharing it. All right, so let's go back to MinDrive's question on the Nasdaq. Once you cycle through, look at the 8 a.m. bar for congestion entry long. So 8 a.m. that was here, right? That's what so you would want to buy that as a congestion long. I mean, in hindsight, okay, yeah, it did push up there. I mean, I probably wouldn't have bought that, but I mean, you've got some nice DMLs right there. You're at the envelope bottom, so I guess you'd have to, you know, look at the daily and go, do you feel comfortable longing up here? I wouldn't have, but that doesn't mean it was a bad trade. I mean, you can see it worked. Let's see if the 15-minute confirmed it. That was right there. Yeah, I mean, the 15, it might have been tough to get in on that, to be honest, because the 15 close here, you know, like if we don't know all this is going to happen, I mean, that's boom. That looks kind of like, yeah, in hindsight, it's an exhaust for a reversal back up, but you don't know that at the time, right? And we're breaking through all this. So, I mean, this could have easily, you know, just kept bombing out into a trend reversal on the 15-minute chart. It didn't. So, yeah, so I wouldn't have taken that MinDrive, but, you know, those are my reasons why. When you guys start to get your playbook together, these are all the little details you're going to look at, right? All right, so we don't want to miss any more trades. So starting tomorrow, we're going to start at like, you know, just after 9 a.m. because then we would have nailed that corn trade. And that would have been a good start to the day. Now we don't want to be late for any 10 a.m. hourly closes, and it's 9:40, so now we got 20 minutes. We'll cycle through. Let's look at ES. Okay, we're kind of coming down here into congestion. Remember, these bars are going to move a lot in the next 20 minutes, right? So we got to kind of cycle through again and again quickly. You know, I don't see anything I like here right now in ES. NQ, you got this flash that we're coming out of. You know, the question is like if NQ held these lows, these are your congestion support lows, into that extension, you know, would we be willing to buy it? I don't really like where we're at in the daily because I just think that there are better trades. Like my bet for the week, and I might be totally wrong, but my bet for the week is that you're going to see this resistance probably hold and try and drive price back down. That's my bet. So therefore, I'd be cautious of congestion support longs on the indices right now. Does that make sense? So this is how I filter them out. Look at the Dow. Same reason I probably wouldn't take that. Let's look at the Russell. Nope. And if I don't make any comments, guys, that's just because I don't see anything I like or need to comment on. And when I see something I need to teach or take, then we'll teach or take it. Those are bonds. Here's gold. So gold, I mean, could be interesting. I mean, you're technically in congestion, but I mean, this is leaning pretty good to the downside, to be honest. So it's not like something I'm crazy about, but the gold weekly and daily charts are so bullish, and now you're into this daily pocket that, you know, we want to keep a close eye on gold today. I don't really see a pattern here for this one at all, but let's wait and see where that closes. Silver's trying to get into a trend run down. Copper. Platinum's trending. Crude's bombing down and through. Nat gas is trending. I believe this is heating oil. So heating oil is going into a pretty good congestion entrance down move in heating oil, right? Question is, if we were to hold all that support, would we like that? I would say no, because that's a pretty biased pocket. And you guys know a biased pocket is, you know, there's your pocket, right? Bias means like we're really hanging down outside the pocket. It's very biased. So I call it biased because it's biased to maybe want to keep going to trend reversal. And also when you take these trades, like the one that we saw for corn at the 9 o'clock hour, the reason that was like a gimme in golf, right? You're right by the hole. It's a gimme. Is you're putting it. It's because you had really nice structure on the hourly. The 15-minute confirmed nicely, and then the day you're right in line with what the daily and weekly are doing. They were super bullish, so that's why you want that congestion buy. Whereas, you know, the way I'm teaching you guys how to set up your playbook is that if you're going to use the hourly as your focus time period in this example, you know, you don't have to take the trade if you're not clear about what the daily is doing. Like right now, looking at heating oil, I've got no idea what this wants to do. And there's the weekly chart. I mean, if anything, it looks weak, you know, so I wouldn't want to be buying heating oil. But you never have to go in if you're uncertain about something. You just wait until there's a trade that, that is checking all the boxes. That's got my checklist, right? So let's look at gasoline. It would kind of be the same thing here on gasoline. Like I don't know what that is doing at all. So Euro's trending. We already know the currencies are trending. Bitcoin was maybe going to give us something. And then I just have to figure out how to trade Bitcoin on Tradify. All right, so Bitcoin, definitely, you have a nice congestion structure here on Bitcoin. I mean, you're into this little pocket here. You've got all these congestion DMLs. That's not bad. You are breaking that extension, which I don't like. The daily, I mean, you're in a resistance pocket up here, which means we could have resistance here, but you've also got a lot of support here so far. I'd have to see where this would close. It's at least so far out of all the markets we've looked at for the 10 o'clock hour, it's at least got some structure for congestion. But let's just wait and see. Let's look at Ethereum. Yeah, Ethereum's got, it's kind of, that could be trend reversal. You got to be careful, guys, on these congestion. If you're looking to trade congestion, be very, very careful on congestion entrance bars. All right, when you're going straight up and then bang like that. Yeah, sometimes they can be good for the push back up like that, but you better have pretty good conviction in the daily and the weekly charts. I mean, what's pretty interesting here about Ethereum is that you've got a really nice, I don't cover Ethereum in the end of day analysis, but I guess I should. Yeah, that's a pretty nice weekly flash right there on Ethereum, right? Like that's a huge capitulation flush. Suck back up above the true average, above these extension DMLs. I mean, that's pretty nice. And now the daily you can see is responding nicely. So, you know, if this, yeah, we're running into that daily extension DML. That's true. I don't really want to go long into that. So I probably wouldn't take that, but I certainly do like the weekly from the long side, just off that flash, but maybe not down until 1560 at the true average. So yeah, I wouldn't take this congestion entrance bar because we're butting up against that daily extension DML. Let's look at corn. So You already had your nice move there. Took your profit. We have to see where corn closes. It's pretty messy outside bar. Let's look at wheat, nothing. Let's look at soybeans, trending. Soybean oil, trending. Soybean meal, trending. Okay, the meats, I mean, let's look at the meats, trending. That's congestion, but that's pretty wild. Big trend. So let me know if you guys have any questions, if you think this is helpful, this type of education. I know it may be boring because you're not able to like sit and, you know, watch every tick of the Nasdaq, but I actually find this quite fun because we're stalking and we're waiting. So now the ES, I mean, you are in a messy congestion range. You're kind of coming down into this pocket. Just depends if we think we're going to continue to congest all day. We'll keep an eye on that. I mean, you're at least in congestion with a nice pocket. I don't like that you're coming out of all this. Nasdaq. I mean, big flash. Just have to see where that closes. At least they're in congestion. So out of all the markets we're looking at, you know, the indices are definitely in congestion. And then the question we'd have to ask ourselves for the 10 o'clock hour, is there any news coming out? I don't know, it's Monday. Let me just check. Get some coffee. No, no news. So no news day today. So Dow, there's the NQ, there's the ES. I mean, it's not, we'll see where this closes. ES, I mean, this could be setting up for a potential long. I mean, there's no, the daily is still trending up for this exact moment. And yeah, we could reverse, but it kind of looks to me like it wants to push a little higher. And so far we're holding up pretty good. So we'll see, but you know, Nasdaq looked a little more, you know, that's a little more ominous, but that could also be a good long there if this wants to push up here by the end of the day, potentially. So we'll see. There's not terrible structure on the hourlies here. ES looks better because it's more protected. So guys, I'm just dumping all this on you. So when you go back and take notes, right? Like that's, Nasdaq's got like a bigger outside bar. So like ES here, you see, it's just more protected. And look, we may not even get the chance to buy this because it's already sucking back up because I want to see where does this close. But you never know. Like here's the 15-minute. Let's say on ES, you know, if we close like this, and then the first 15-minute, that gives us support here. If the first 15-minute bar of the next hour gives you a pocket buy like that, that would be a good buy. And then you try and buy it for a push back up like that, because then the hourly's in congestion. You got all these DMLs here. The 15 would confirm with a pocket. You know, that wouldn't be a bad trade. So we'll keep an eye on that. We might go long. So Supreme having strong reaction from true day open. What do you mean by that, Supreme? From the true average. So here's Nasdaq. Nasdaq just looks, the structure doesn't look as good. Yes, the structure looks better. You got a nice pocket here. Oh, okay. 12 p.m. New York time. Got it. Okay. Yeah, it looks, we're just kind of grinding higher. It looks like one of these grinding days. I mean, bonds are nicely bid over here. You see on the scoreboard? So that means, you know, for today, that's market stability. Indices will like that. Um, Copper's up 0.93. That's an industrial metal. Platinum's up 1%. That's industrial metal. So it's looking more risk on today, right now. So we might buy this. NQ just looks more dangerous to me, but you know, we'll see. Question with ES here is if we were going to buy this, you see, here's the thing too, where I would buy it, I would say to myself, okay, I'd be looking, you know, I want to buy into the DMLs in the congestion low area here, right? I don't want to buy here in the middle. And yeah, fine. If it closes in the middle here and picks up the middle of the envelope and pushes, well, like, you know, you're not in. Maybe some of you are. I'm not, because if I'm going to trade congestion, I want to buy down here into these congestion lows, envelope bottom, these DMLs. So probably what I would do is if this closes here, I would say, okay, you've got 54, 53. Nice support there. That's coming in right there on the 15-minute. So, you know, 50, you got these DMLs here on the 15-minute. We're moving inside the envelope here. So could potentially set an order to buy, like, you know, 54, 54, depending on where these end up. You see how they're still shifting. The math is shifting as we're still moving. And then the stop would just be below these lows, you know. But on ES right now, that's a 15-point stop because of the range, which is really funny. I know, like, normally ES, you know, you're looking at like a 5-6 point stop, something like that. So 15 points, because if I'm going to take this on my Tradeifys, which I might, let's do the math. We want to structure our risk. ESM. Hang on a sec. So get the calc. Yeah, so 15 times 50. It's a $750 risk. You know, I would kind of like to keep my risk on these Tradeifys, even though I'm doing them individually now, boom by boom. Like, I would kind of like to keep it to about, you know, $500. So in that case, I'd probably do like maybe 8 micros on ES. MESM5. So I type in MES5 and on Tradeify MGCJ came up. Thank you. MES. Oh, there it is. Got it. Okay, so I'd probably do like 8 micros. You know, the stop, you'd have to say probably, I'm just setting this up in case the trade triggers. So the stop would be like 15, so that'd be 60 ticks, something like that. And maybe the target would be, you know, 150-ish for now. This is just for the brackets, guys, on Tradeify if I take it. I'm just preparing in case I do take it. So, and this trade, we'll see where this closes. We still have, you know, 4 minutes. But basically, if I'm going to long here, then I'm betting on the daily continuing to push higher. And right now, the daily is pretty uncertain. Like I said, we're into these resistance levels here, which I'm not crazy about longing, right? But this will tell us where it closes. And this daily could push up here today. So the question is it worth $500 in risk? Might be. Let's watch. Because the DMLs will tell the story, you guys. And for those of you, if there's anybody here that's not a member, a DML is a dynamic market level. VolPro Edge is all these little dots and things you see. These are DMLs. So these will tell us. And like I said, the scoreboard, you got the stability in the bond market. You've got copper up nicely. You got platinum up nicely. Not that those can't reverse, they can. But we got to use the scoreboard we have. And right now that scoreboard is, you know, looks positive for stocks overall. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah, well, the dollar's strong right now, but lately there's been a reverse correlation with a weak dollar has led to a weak stock market. So right now, if the dollar is strong, that could mean foreigners have faith now in the dollar. They're buying the debt. Maybe that's good for stocks because these correlations are shifting. Typically, I know when the dollar is strong, that's not good for indices. Yeah. So let's see. This is going to close here in just a couple minutes. It's really not a bad congestion support pattern here. And you do have these DMLs at 54, 52. See, normally if we were to close like corn, you closed right at where you wanted that. So you would take that corn buy, right? Whereas ES, we're still quite a ways above. You don't want to chase this. And if you miss it, you miss it. But if we, in order to satisfy me for this trade, satisfy my, what I would need to see, this hourly is going to need to close above that congestion DML and then have all this support underneath us at about 54, 52. And then I could consider taking that 15-minute into these DMLs at 54, 52. And then my stop would just be like, 10 points, I guess, 54, 42 below those lows. And I would just live with the situation. Because it kind of looks like it's just going to continue to be a congestion day. Okay, let's see. I would say that closed correctly. So I'd be looking to get long here at 54, 53. So I've got an order at 54, 52, 75. And look, if it's going to bomb straight down and through all this, then it's going to be wrong. I've got 8 micros. And the stop is going to be like, 40 and a half. I just got it at 40 for now. And let's see, this is going to be wrong if this is going to go for congestion exit to the downside, which it could. So I'm filled. And now I'll also monitor this because I really want to see the buying come in here. And if the buying doesn't come in and we start to collapse, then I would just bail on this. I don't necessarily have to take a 10-point loss, right? So far, the initial reaction after getting filled got filled pretty much at the low, right there at those DMLs. The initial reaction is correct, but doesn't mean, see, now we're coming back down. We want the 15 now to push back up above the middle of the envelope here. I really don't want to see 50 breaking down. So I'm long from 52.75, and if I start to see like 50 breaking down, I probably cut it. The target is going to be up around, these highs. There's my long. You guys can see 8 ES micros on this one Tradify. So now we want to get up and through the middle of the VolPro Edge envelope on the hourly. We want the 15-minute to now go for, it is in congestion, the 15. So we want the 15 to push back up above these highs. Once we get a little further, I'll probably, I haven't physically moved my stop to break even, but mentally I'm kind of there because, the party should be started now. The short should not be liking this if this is going to continue to go higher. So if it comes back to my entry, I would be happy to take a break even here. So basically we're in a free trade at this moment. Nice, Supreme. Like even right now, not a bad trade. Up like 620, 630. But I'm going to hold. Mentally, I'm at break even. If we start to push up there toward like 54.90, probably be looking to take profit up there. Nice little buying coming in there. So you can see over here, I'm up almost $1,000, which is, not bad. I could just wanted to push up to these DMLs here a little. I don't want to cut this too soon. Like 89-ish is probably not a bad spot. So like 7 more points. All right, I'm cutting it there. I took profit. And the reason I took profit is because we had a pretty quick push up there. And look, I think it's going to go a little higher, but that was just such a clean trade. I mean, you guys saw, live in real time, guys, how we structured this trade and basically got filled long at the low there because of our DMLs on the hourly, on the 15-minute. I mean, I'd say that was a good example of how to trade congestion action with your VolPro Edge congestion playbook, right? Yeah, bottom tick that one. Thanks, man. That's nice. And I think it's going to push a little higher, so probably could have held it. But, we got from one side of the envelope here on the 15 to the other side. I think we are going up here. But oftentimes, too, when it moves quick like that and, you got your money, I'm always in the mindset like I'm happy to make my money. So on that particular trade right there, let's go ahead. So I'm only trading these, one account at a time, right? So made $1,100 on this particular Tradeify, right? Because that one was down like $400, and now we're up, 650 or whatever. So now on the next trade we find, I will flop from that Tradeify to number 11. I'm going to keep rotating these trade by trade by trade. So like in a few weeks, we'll see how we did with all of our playbook calls. But that was pretty good. Anybody else get in on that action? Are you guys understanding what I'm talking about? How I'm trying to filter the trade and show you that it doesn't have to be that complicated? Nice, MinDrive. Nice job, man. And look, we'll still, Steven got it. Nice, Steven. Good job, guys. So look, this trade is technically not over because we still have a ton of support down here on the hourly. So let's say the 15-minute, I'm out, but let's just, and I don't have any orders in, but let's say the 15-minute, stayed in congestion and went back like this. Well, then we'd have a beautiful 15-minute pocket. I would long that again. And that would be the gift that would keep on giving. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. Nice, Spider-Man. I love it, dude. You guys are doing great. All right, so any questions? That was our 10 a.m. trade. I think I'm really, really feeling good about the structure now of the day trading. It took me, a couple weeks to kind of settle in and figure out how I wanted to be able to trade and teach. It's no fun to sit around and wait for like perfect trades, because you never know when those are going to come. But this is my goal, like this, is to show you trades, filter out the ones I don't like, but at least there'll be plenty that we can take. You can learn where to set your orders. You can learn, you know, how I manage the risk. You know, I'm taking them on the Tradeifys, all this kind of stuff. So Steven said, would Def love another test of the local range? Yeah, for sure. Down there into support would be awesome. Jacob, how do you combine the time frames is what confuses me. For instance, the daily is trending, hourly congestion, and 15 all over the place. Yeah, I mean, I think the simplest way to think about it, Jacob, and I understand why it's confusing, because when I first, you know, started to get my mind around all this, it's very confusing because there's a lot happening. Start with the higher time frame, okay? So the daily right now, right? Yeah, you know, I do like this resistance level overall for the week, right? But right now, and Jacob, have you made a checklist, and how many times have you gone through the course? I'm sure you know, you're doing this, but that helps me to understand. So the daily is trending up right now, technically, right? Because you got 1, 2, 3, right? It's trending up. And even though I expect resistance up here, right? It still is trending up now, right? And we have all these congestion DMLs that we broke. So those are now support, right? We had a gap open last night and we haven't really been able, I mean, we tried to fill it, but not really. So this market is, you know, looking like it wants to push higher because the daily is pushing higher here. So if the daily, because that's the top time frame right now. Yeah, the weekly, the monthly, but just focus on the daily right now for day trading, right? Yeah, I got the weekly here just to make sure I'm not like running into a stupid brick wall on a trade, right? So the daily is pushing higher, right? Now, if the daily's pushing higher and the hourly here is, you know, you see we're grinding higher and we're in congestion, right? We're just, you know, we're just boom, 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 boom. So now we go boom. I go, okay, well, if the daily's grinding higher and the hourly's in congestion and we gave us this nice pocket here, and like I said, all these DMLs are holding, and then the 15-minute closed above these DMLs, right? So you see how I go from like daily to hourly to 15, but the daily is definitely stronger. So let's say the daily was like in a trend run down right now, right? And the hourly gave me a congestion buy. I wouldn't take it because it's going against the daily, you know, what I perceive to be the strong daily direction, right? So I hope that makes sense. And it's just, all I can tell you, Jacob, is, yeah, okay, cool. All I can tell you, man, is like, if you keep just banging your head against the wall and just keep really trying to understand, I promise you, at some point, it's just going to go, and the light's going to go on, and you're going to see, right? So it's just going to take a little bit of time to get it. Like, to be totally honest with you, man, if I was in your guys' shoes, I would have probably been one of the guys who, after taking the course 100 times and coming to every live stream and taking notes, it probably would have taken me 6 months of just like banging my head into the wall. This is what I did with my old mentor, right? Like when I learned from him, he sent me this is way back in the day, right? I paid like 20 grand for like a stack of books. I got all these books in the mail. I'm like going through them. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy talking about, right? But I knew he was a successful trader and I knew I should study this stuff, but it took forever. And I just had to bang my head against the wall. And eventually, one day, it just clicked. That's all I can tell you. Like, you know, working hard, it'll click. I'm glad you see it more clearly. Cool. Miyagi, seeing it set up like that was super helpful. Okay, cool. Awesome. But, you know, you guys could have been watching Rips. No offense, Rips. I like Rips. Yeah. He's like, all right, here comes the bull flag. I'm in. Oops. I think it's funny. I think it's funny. Okay, so we'll focus now. We got 3 minutes left till this current 15-minute bar closes. And I mean, look, if this closes down here into a pocket, gosh, I might have to buy that again. Let's see. Not if it's in the middle, but like, let's say that they just, because you know, ES loves to do this. You know, if it closes back down here, that would give us, that would bring this blue line down. So instead of being here, it would be here. That'd be a pocket. I mean, we'll see. I will say one thing, I'm always a little reluctant. Like if I've taken the trade and I've made the money and we've gone from one side to the other and it did what I wanted, when it comes back down, I usually will not take it just because now we're coming out of the other side. But on a day like today, I think you've got a lot of support down here. So it's something that I'll watch to take a second bite at the apple. But that was pretty cool in terms of just using the DMLs right there to place the entry order and get filled. And guys, usually I will go in at market, right? I'm a market trader. That's like 90% of the time. But now that we're in congestion week and I'm teaching you how to trade, there's going to be more limit orders because, you know, like right here, I don't want to go in at market at 58 when my DMLs are at, you know, 43. And we got in at 42.75, which I think was the bottom tick pretty much. I mean, there's obviously a little bit of luck in that too. It could have just stopped one tick above our entry and then went up without us. And that'll happen sometimes. And if that happens, you just got to chalk that up and say, hey, no big deal. That happened. Don't let all that shit, you know, wear you down and get you pissed off because it'll cost you a lot of mental capital. So let's see where this closes here in about 25 seconds. See if we want to take a second bite at the apple. Not looking like it. 10 seconds. Although in today's markets, it's like in 5 seconds, we can move 20 handles, 30 handles on ES. Yeah, so now we're in the middle of the envelope, so I wouldn't do anything here. I would wait. But the 15-minute is now moved inside the envelope. So now this is also a lesson for you guys. You know, when you're looking at the time frames and you're thinking about this in terms of the higher time period on down, right? That's the order of hierarchy, is the higher time periods supersede, they're stronger, they're more important than the time periods below them, right? But you still got to use them all together. But so here, you look at this 15-minute. In its own little world, you'd say, well, gee, the 15 minutes in congestion, you're in this nice little pocket here, you challenged, you know, these DMLs up here, you know, hey, we should now cycle from here back down to here. Yeah, we might, but, you know, now it is, but you're going against all of this potential support, right? So it's not something I would recommend, right? So you don't want to let the tail wag the dog. And so right now, some of you might be saying like, Andy, would you get long right here, right now again? No, I wouldn't. Not right now. I want to wait and see where this 15-minute bar closes. So I'm waiting for the close of the bar. I find that if you guys have problems over trading or being anxious or whatever time frame you're using, wait for the close of the bar. It's going to help you tremendously. You know, be prepared that a lot of trades are going to go without you. But when you wait for that close, it tends to anchor your decision making because now you're working right when it closes, boom. You know what the pattern is. You know where your dynamic market levels are, right? So then it makes it, you know, you want to anticipate, hey, if it closes here, I'm going to do this, but wait for that close. It'll help to ground your trading a lot more. Does that make sense, you guys? Let me know if you have any more questions. Yeah, Maka, are you in here? I just saw you posted in Discord. Are you in the live trading room? Hope so, buddy. And John G, I don't know if he got, John, are you here? I hope you're able to comment, buddy. All right, so Aaron, when you rewatch this tomorrow, buddy, hope you enjoy it. Aaron had to go to bed. I totally get it. He's in the Australian Gold Coast time zone. Tell him to sleep well. All right. Cool. So I'm gonna have to remember too to switch my accounts around, right? Like here on these Tradeifys, I've got to remember to like now, you know, because that trade I just took the winner on was account number 10, and now I'm rotating to account number 11 because that's how I want to do this because I want to be able to take real risk on each account. But if I was to copy trade and I only have 6,000 in draw, that's kind of over leveraged and stupid. So I'm trying to teach you guys how to do it if I were you. All right, so you can see the 15-minute now is challenging into this pocket. I mean, there's a lot of support down here, right? It probably a lot of people who moved their stop, who held this and moved the stop to break even, they just all got taken out. That happens a lot, right? And now you can see, you know, I took profit a little early, but not too bad, right? I mean, I took profit right in here somewhere. And guys, you see how with VolPro Edge, it's not guessing. I took profit because we were close to the other side of the hourly envelope, which is our target when we're in congestion. We were above the 15-minute envelope, which is our target in congestion, because in congestion, we're going to go from one side of the green envelope to the other side. Here, 15-minute to the other side, right? So, like, for me, there was no, like, guesswork there. Like, that was where I should take profit. And then, because this is the congestion playbook, right? So then if this would have just gone like this, you know, I don't play the woulda, coulda, shoulda game and be like, oh my God, I could have made so much more. No, no, no. You never know what's going to happen. That's why you need like a logical, sequential playbook, which is what this is. Then there's no guessing. There's no like, oh my God, I should have held. It's like, well, no, because your playbook is congestion and the target in congestion is the other side of the envelope, right? So maybe some of you guys got a second bite at the apple there. If I was feeling saucy, I could have done it, but let's just see where this closes. I'm going to wait for the closes. It's a way better way to anchor things. All right, guys, we still got 9 minutes until this 15-minute bar closes. I mean, what I would love to see, I would love to see this 15-minute close like this, right on that extension, right into those lows with these live DMLs right there below us. Then I would buy that and try and target back up here. And my stop would be just, you know, very little risk just down here. If we got that, we may not get that, but that's how I try to anticipate, you know, what I want to do if the close looks like this. All right, guys, questions, anything? Had a nice trade there on ES. And I'm telling you guys, if you go back and watch the stream, if you're just joining us, you know, corn had a great 9 a.m. hourly congestion buy. We're filtering through all these markets. Corn gave us a beauty right there. There's the hourly. There's your flash, bang. There's your core DMLs, boom. There's the 15-minute pocket confirming right into the extension core. Beautiful. I didn't take it because, you know, we cycled through the list. We got there a little late, but it was a fantastic example of a beautiful long there on corn. And you would want to take that because the daily is firing to the upside, bullish. So therefore your congestion support level with that pattern and the 15-minute confirmation, I mean, that's kind of all you guys can ask for, right? And, you know, ES was also a good setup. The corn setup, I would rank higher, like better, but the ES setup wasn't bad at all, which is why we took it and it worked out. You know, what kind of a hit rate are we going to have these next few weeks when we do congestion week? You know, next week we'll do, you know, trend week. We'll do whatever. We'll decide what we do week by week. This is congestion week. You know, I think the way I'm filtering the trades, we'll see. And you guys can categorize this. Somebody get a spreadsheet, start tracking these trades. So like, you know, 2 months from now, we can say, okay, when Andy was teaching us, you know, the congestion playbook, this was our hit rate. When Andy was teaching us, you know, the trend playbook, trend week, that's our hit rate. When he was teaching us reversal playbook, that's our hit rate. Congestion exit playbook, congestion entrant playbook, trend reversal playbook, like opposite playbook. We're going to do week by week by week by week, the entire playbook. And, you know, we'll track the stats. And I'm taking all these trades on my Tradeify. So, you know, that'll be pretty cool for you guys. I'm getting pumped. Hope you guys are pumped on this Monday. All right, questions, anybody? Guys, I'm just going to keep it running here on YouTube for now because, you know, I'm sure all of you here are members anyways. So it's like, there's like, once we have, you know, once word gets out, you know, I haven't started pushing the marketing yet for VolPro Edge because the website hasn't been done. The payment processing hasn't, this is, you know, this is our nice little tight inaugural group. But, you know, once word gets out, our very own Aaron the Commodity is going on. He just surpassed 100,000 in payouts using VolPro Edge. Granted, he got it a lot sooner than everybody because he's a good friend of mine. But he's going on Top Step TV for the second time. He will be on, I want to say, like the 28th or something. So you know, he's going to make VolPro Edge known on Top Step TV, which would be cool. And there's other things happening where once the word starts to get out of how organized, number one, how good our indicators work first and foremost, but then the approach, teaching you guys how to use it so that, you know, you guys are getting your own payouts, your own success, right? So then, you know, we're going to have probably hundreds and hundreds of people that come into this live stream, and then then I'm going to switch, you know, at around 10:30 in the morning, we'll switch over to Discord and, you know, stream the whole rest of the time for members. But right now it's all members here anyway. So just if you wonder why I'm not switching over to the Discord, that's why. Although I do feel bad for John G. I hope he can comment. Yeah, so MinDrive, pretty clear. I do like the idea of anchored decision making. The approach is really good for how my brain works. Yeah, and look, this is the kind of decision making every trader needs to have, because, you know, for people that are just all over the map and you don't have like a logical way, or, you know, to identify, I mean, just think about what we just did, you guys, with, we're using our congestion playbook that we're just zeroing in right on our congestion playbook, and you see the structure we get and the logical sequence, the multiple time period analysis, you know, the dynamic market levels, all these things. You see how it flows from one type of trading to the next. We've got rules, right, for our different types of trading that we're in and how to connect it all with the multiple time period analysis. You know, contrast that, what we're doing, to this. I mean, it's crazy. We're really lucky. I thank my lucky stars every day. I really do. All right, so we got 4 minutes until this closes. I would love to see him bomb down here and challenge this. That would give us like a very similar pattern on the 15-minute to what we saw in corn right here. Right there, you see the corn, right? Kind of similar, right? Because corn, you see, it fished up there to the envelope top and then just bombed, but right into the extension, core, DMLs, and the old trend low. Bang. So ES, you know, would be cool if it did that. I don't think it's going to, but it'd be fun. Still got about 3 minutes. All right, you guys post some questions. I'm just going to refill my coffee. Just give me like, you know, 1 minute. We'll be back. I'll watch this 15-minute close with you. And guys, really ask all your questions. Don't feel that you know, if you're stuck on something and you think you're going to sound dumb in the chat, there's the only thing being dumb is by not asking questions. So ask your questions. That's how I can help clarify and help you out to understand so that you can do this too. Okay, I'll be right back, guys. 2 minutes. All right, guys, everybody get a coffee refill? I did. Cheers. Oh man, I was like, when I was waking up this morning, I was like, oh, I need more sleep. So I kind of pushed the alarm back and I was dreaming that I was streaming. Yep, so you can see it did fish down there. So this is also where you guys can, develop your playbooks. And for those of you that are more aggressive, you could have just bought that intra bar. I'm not like against that. I'm just the way I'm doing it for you guys and the way I do it for myself is I wait for closes because I just find the whole like it allows the mind to rest, in between trades. So Supreme, how to know when to move stop loss to break even. I moved on NQ too early and missed a win. Well, let's look at NQ. Tell me, where'd you get long, Supreme? Here's NQ. Maybe you told me up there. 9.54. So in here, 54. I see, right in there is where you got long, 54. Yeah, so I mean, you got long, I'm guessing here, right? That was a good spot. I mean, look, on the 15-minute chart, you did make it to the other side of the envelope and you made it to the VolPro reaction resistance level here into this hourly pocket. I mean, so you kind of had a pretty good spot up here to take profit, right? And I'm expecting congestion today. Like, I think this is just going to be choppy markets. So it's not like the reason I took profit was because I'm just not betting on a huge runner to the upside. Now that might happen, but it's just not something I'm betting on based on the current, congestion price action. So I think you did reach your objective here. So I think it's not more. It's not like, oh, did you move to break even, too soon? I think it's more you just kind of missed the opportunity to take profit up there because you went from 54. Let's say you wouldn't have got out at the peak, but let's say you get out at like 64. I mean that's 100 points, right? On one micro, that's $200. That's nice. Covers your subscription for the month, right? So 100 points, one micro, it's like nothing to sneeze at. That's a good trade. So that's kind of how I would say about that. Some people like taking profit, in partials. I will do that sometimes, like if we're in a trend, but generally I'm kind of all in or all out because that's how my mind works. I like to just focus, like that's my entry, that's my exit, move on to the next one. But that's me. So, some people are very different, you know, and that's why you just got to find what works well for you. Mm. So I hope that helps, Supreme. I think it was more just about like not taking the profit when you were in your profit zone, you know? How important are liquidity sweeps for you? Even little ones, say there are three lows, low congestion. Yeah, no problem, Supreme. Min drive, look, I'm aware of it, but to be honest, what's most important for me is VolPro Edge. What the type of trade? I think that would also help a lot of you guys if you could take a lot of the other stuff you've learned and just put it on the side and just focus on VolPro Edge. You'll probably get much better at VolPro Edge much faster because you really don't need to even worry about liquidity sweeps and all that kind of stuff because it's just more information, right? Like, yeah, I was aware of these lows here. They probably wanted to come back down, sweep that liquidity because they knew a lot of people move their stop to break even. I mean, I see those things. Obviously, I've been around the market for a long time, but I mean, you guys can see on my charts, I don't like, you don't even need like the daily value area high, the daily value area low. Like, sure, you can use VolPro Edge to create strategies around those types of things if you want, like what Scalper is doing. He loves his EMAs and he's found a way to tie in VolPro Edge with his EMAs and he's killing it. But I'm just telling for most people, just study VolPro Edge and you got everything you need. Because all that information is baked into my calculations, guys. So like you're just seeing little dots, but you see how accurate they are. There's a reason they're accurate because they're putting a ton of information there. And I know that my charts look busy, but once you actually get to know them, they're the cleanest charts in the world. Like they're not busy at all. Yeah, put it this way, like if you weren't successful before using other techniques, maybe just try and drop those techniques for like a couple months and just focus totally on VolPro Edge. And I think you'll be in a much better position, right? Because you will be successful with this and you weren't successful with the other stuff. So Spider-Man says, I think it's sometimes harder to unlearn or unuse stuff. 2025 changed a lot in my trading. I had to let go a lot of stuff. Yeah, for sure. And just, let go of stuff that's clutter, it's not working. And at the same time, if you have stuff you love, like if you love VWAP, great. Guys, you could develop VolPro Edge systems around VWAP. If you just match up types of trading, DMLs, you could be the VolPro Edge VWAP king or queen or whatever. So it's really just up to you. But I'm telling you, you don't need any more. This is like price action at its finest. Meanwhile, spring break here. So next week on Monday, my daughter is finally starting her new school, which is going to be incredible. Like, she's amazing, but she's intense. So it's going to be really nice. We were going to start her this week, but they were on spring break. We're like, all right, we're starting. We're doing it. They're like, no, you got to wait another week. I'm like, okay. Oh man, yeah, LOL for sure. And then we got the new baby on the way. The new baby is due in a little over a month, guys. It's gonna be crazy. Here, I'll show you where we're staying. Because we got to go to San Jose, the capital, because that's where the hospitals are. We're doing a home birth, but you want to be close to a hospital, for the home birth. I remember the name. Oh, yeah, there it is. Cortijo. Cortijo. So it's nice. So we'll stay. This is the place we're staying in San Jose so for 3 weeks I'll be streaming from here. Let me see if I can find. Let's see. That'll be pretty cool. My parents are flying down from the States to help us with the birth. Yeah, here it is. So they got a pretty cool pool area. I think our place it's one of these up here maybe. So the U.S. Embassy in San Jose is right. So this is the El Cortijo where we're staying, and then the U.S. Embassy is like right over here. It's a huge, huge facility for the U.S. Embassy. So this would be a good pad. Nice little view. So I'll be streaming from here for those few weeks that we'll be in San Jose to have the baby. So that'll be cool. And they got like a nice lobby. I'm trying to get to the lobby. There's the lobby, but then you got also like the pool area is pretty cool. There's a nice little cigar lounge. Oh, the little waterfall's nice. Where's the cigar lounge? There. Check this out. I'll definitely be having a stogie in there for sure. And then there's a gym. Yeah, the gym's not bad. So that's where we'll be I'll be there in San Jose from May 13th until June 5th, I want to say, something like that. And we had to schedule the window because, my wife's due date is like May 20th, right? But we don't know, like, is the baby going to come early or a little later? And you can't really have the baby here in Jaco where we live by the beach if you're going to do a home birth, because yeah, we got our midwife and our doctor, the pediatrician and all that, that they're on site making sure the birth goes good at home. But if there's an emergency, there's no hospital close by here. You'd have to drive for like an hour, and that could be dangerous for the baby, the mom. So we had to book this Airbnb in the capital so that, you know, we're right by a hospital, all that kind of stuff. That'll be fun to stream from there anyways. All right, I'm just kind of biding time here. You guys got any questions? We're waiting for our next setup at 11 a.m. So we'll start scrolling through the hourly charts, see what we can find. So far, you know, 2 really good setups today. Yeah, we didn't take corn. I promise you I would have taken it had I seen it in time. But 2 good setups. I would track these, you guys. Like, you know, it's important. Let's see. Supreme, I suggest omega-3, B12. Watch her become a genius. Yeah, okay, good. I'll tell my wife. I don't think I want her to become any more of a genius. Like, she's 5 and whatever, like, that's her problem. She's too smart. I try and like, no, you can't do this right now. You can't do it. And she's like, comes back at me with like these logical things. It's like, she's too smart. It's really funny. All right, let's look through the hourlies here, guys. You guys who have kids, you understand. All my friends who don't have kids are like, oh, I had the worst day ever. I'm like, dude, you've got no fucking idea. Until you got kids, man. Okay, so here, ES hourlies in congestion, right? We're preparing now for the 11 a.m. hourly close, guys. Oh yeah. Well, the thing is, I'm waiting. I'll probably have to get an office, Spider-Man, because right now, like, I'm just at our place in Hako by the beach. I'm just streaming. Like, I've got the guest bedroom, like, where I sleep, because I wake up earlier than them and I don't want to wake them up. And so then I just stream. I've got like a really big high dresser that I use as my desk. It kind of double functions. And I've got 2 big screens and then my lap. So I've got 3 screens. Yeah, and for now it's very comfy. I mean, you guys can see the view out here. This is like out toward the city of Hako. You got a bunch of greenery. I mean, the beach is like 100 yards this way. It's a good little setup. I like it. Are there any preferred alignments you like with congestion and extension DMLs when trading congestion and congestion DML? Hang on, MinDrive. I'll get to that. Yeah, thanks, Spider-Man. It's nice. I'll get to that, MinDrive. Let me just go through the check here real quick because I don't want to miss anything. Aaron the commodity, that was funny. He told Scalper, he goes, Nat Gas is the Widowmaker. It is the Widowmaker. Got to be careful with Nat Gas. All right, so getting ready for 11 a.m. I'll get your MinDrive. I'll get to you. Let me just check. So I think that was the buy right there. I would, even if we popped up here, I wouldn't short this. See, because now we're on the other side of the congestion zone. Same thing with NQ. I wouldn't short that because again, I'm using the scoreboard too, guys. You see how I'm using the scoreboard? I told you before I decided to long on ES. Not only did we have a good pattern, VolPro Edge, everything looked really good with VolPro Edge. The daily looks like it wants to push higher. But yeah, I'm totally aware that bonds are stable right now, right? The dollar's catching a bid, which right now is beneficial to the stock market. You know, copper, platinum, we're up over 1%. So I'm like, okay, there's a little bit more risk appetite today, which made me feel comfortable about that long, you know, in addition to the fact that VolPro Edge gave us a really, really nice setup there with all of our tools, our types of trading, our multiple time period analysis, our DMLs, all that kind of stuff. So it matched up. So then right now with this scoreboard, do I want to be shorting congestion on the indices? No, I don't. So I think there's a chance we want to push back up to these highs, right? So I'm not really looking for a congestion short play right now in the indices. And now we're back toward the envelope top. So since this is congestion week where I'm teaching you guys, you know, I'm not going to short that. So ES, same thing. Yeah, we're at the envelope top. And guys, we may bomb lower, but I'll tell you what, I don't care if I miss anything here. I would love if this thing knocked it back down. Look at all these extensions down here. If we got something like that, boom, at the 12 o'clock hour, that's your buy to go straight back up, right? I'm just telling you why I don't want to short. So ES, no short. NQ, I wouldn't short. I hope they get knocked down so we can buy again, but I'm not shorting it. Dow, not shorting. Russell, not shorting. 10-year still trending up. 30-year still trending. So this is not our congestion playbook. Ultra bonds, trying to go for congestion entrance down. So we'd have to ask ourselves, for example, and by the way, there's a really nice flash, guys. So during flash week, you know, we'll just focus on flash, 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 flash. Oh, there's a beautiful flash. Tags the extension. Yeah, it kind of broke that DML, but that one's really important. So then you say, oh, I want to short this here, right? For the flash reversal. Okay, wait for the 15-minute to confirm. Kaboom, right there. Congestion DML, check. Live congestion DML, check. Peak of the envelope, check. Bang, right into here, bang. Absolutely perfect. My door likes to open by itself. So, you know, that's what we'll get to in Flash Week. We're going to do so many themed weeks that by the end of all these themed weeks, you guys are going to know exactly what you want to do. You're going to have your playbook ready to rock. So I have to ask myself in anticipation, yeah, we're trending up, but let's say what happens if the 30-year, you know, closes like this? I probably wouldn't take it because we're coming out of a flash, but we'll see when it closes. I'll get to questions in a sec. I just don't want to miss anything. So here is gold. We're in congestion. I know definitely that I don't want to short gold today, but if this would go into congestion the rest of the day, and then, you know, let's say this hourly closes here, and then let's say it goes back down. Now you'd be, boom, that'd be your buy for the 12 o'clock hour for the push back up. So this is how you guys start to anticipate what's going on, okay? Let's look at silver. Yeah, don't like anything there. Okay, so copper, I mean, not a bad little congestion zone here for sure. You got a nice little pocket on the hourly to short. But at this point, I know I said, hey, you know, copper, you got that flash on the daily. But right now, like that should have knocked us down already, and it's not knocking us down. So it's kind of like the opposite is happening on copper, meaning we're busting through that flash. So I wouldn't want to short the hourly congestion resistance level when this daily flash exhaust couldn't even knock us back down, right? And probably this hourly will close above all these DMLs and not confirm it anyways, right? But I'm just like letting you know how I do this in anticipation. Thanks, Tim Nossi. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, theme weeks. This is going to be awesome. It's going to take you, because I was really thinking like, okay, it doesn't matter that I've made a lot of money the last 2 weeks, but it doesn't matter that I've made a lot of money, because if I'm not able to like pass that on to you guys and you make money, then, you know, the whole point is that you guys make money. So that's why I was like thinking, like, how do I really structure the streaming? And then I just had the idea, like, yeah, you know, I could theme it based on playbook setups and then trade on my Tradeifys while I theme it. And I'm glad you guys like it. I love it. I'm really enjoying it. All right, so that's why I wouldn't short copper. So look at platinum, sort of the same thing here. Like, look, the daily, you see here, the daily is firing to the upside. So, you know, yeah, okay, sure, there's a chance that by the end of the day, this thing could be back down here. Sure, there's a chance, but do you want to go against that and short that? I don't. Just why? There's lower hanging fruit. So, you know, platinum, okay, big, you know, congestion entrance move here. You look at this, oh, there's a pocket, oh, these highs, oh, no. You're going against all that. I wouldn't want to do that. Platinum looks like it wants to gun for that weekly extension DML up there. That's my guess right now. So I wouldn't short that. Here's crude. Crude's not really giving us an hourly situation there. Here's nat gas. So big congestion entrance down move on nat gas. You see, I would look at this and say, okay, look at this daily here on nat gas. I don't know what it's doing. So do I want to like, the whole point is higher time period analysis. Like why would I want to take a nat gas trade right now if I can't read the daily? I wouldn't. So that's just, I would just let it go. Look at heating oil. Same thing here. There's a mess. Gasoline here, a mess. Let's look at the euro. So, and guys, I'm really digging the TradingView, doing our themed week. We don't need the volume charts. The minute charts are perfect for theme week because you see, when we're scrolling through all the markets like this, then you want the hourly chart and the 15-minute because you need to have that. Okay, at 9 a.m. they close, all of them, and I can go through all of them. At 10 a.m., all of them close. 11. So for me, the volume-based intraday charts on Sierra charts, like those are really good. If you want to dial into one market for the day, you set those volume and then you run your playbook. But for what we're doing now, TradingView is beautiful for this. And Sierra charts will be fine as well. But TradingView does load very fast, when it's working. So very, very pleased with it. Looking at the hourly here on the euro, trend down, congestion entrance up. Just as a rule of thumb, you guys, for your congestion playbook, be very, very, very careful. If you're trending down like this and then bang, you get this push up, that's the congestion entrance bar. Those are tough bars because you don't know if you're going to see follow through or if it's going to reverse. So I would suggest for your congestion playbooks, you really want to take markets like this. Like it was clear on our buy right there for ES, right? This market had been in congestion. That's what you want. You don't want to mess with the market with your congestion playbook where like you're trending down and you try and catch that congestion entrance bar. That's a dangerous bar, okay? You guys picking that up? So on the euro here, I would not short that because that's a dangerous bar. Even though technically, yeah, we're in congestion now if it closes there, right? But that's a trend reversal bar potential that you got to stay away from. So here is the pound, same thing. I wouldn't mess with that. Here's the Swiss franc. I mean, that's tough to read. Really tough. Congestion, you want orderly. You want real congestion. The FX market right now is not giving us any congestion at all. Look at Bitcoin off to the races. Kind of followed NQ and ES there, but look, we took our chunk on ES there. So you get Ethereum. Yep, so Ethereum did set that up, that buy. But see, that's a congestion entrance bar. Those are dangerous. So, but you do have that nice weekly flash on Ethereum. And now we're blasting through that extension DML. So you see how this is also just a lesson, guys, how you can just, like, you wouldn't short against that daily extension DML because you're coming out of a weekly flash. And the weekly flash potential for a move back up here is much more powerful than a potential daily extension DML, right? So that's really important. This is how you'll start to put together all the pieces. Look at corn hourly. I mean, I know I don't want to short corn because of, look, the daily is just firing to the upside. Weekly, huge bar up. Let's see, wheat. So, wheat, you're in congestion here with wheat for sure. I mean, you're at some support on the daily. Middle of the envelope. You got the crossover here, guys. You see how you suck up the VolPro reaction support level above the resistance level? They're crossing over, so that's support. There might be. I'll keep an eye on wheat. I mean, I'm not like nuts about it because of this daily pop up, and now we're coming out of that resistance level, but you are at some support. I'm not really sure what's going on with the daily right now. So that's the only thing that would make me not, take this, but we are potentially setting up a congestion zone. So if by the 11 o'clock hourly close, this closes here, let's say that our reaction level shifts down into a pocket. Let's say that these core DMLs shift down here. Let's say the 15-minute confirmed. I mean, we'll keep an eye on it. It's the closest thing I would even look at so far for the 11 o'clock hour. And look, corn, soybeans, they're all flying to the upside. So maybe wheat's giving us a nice buy here. I haven't traded grains in a while, so I'm gonna have to kind of like ease my way into the grains. Soybean oil trending down, not part of our congestion playbook. Soybean meal, kind of going for congestion entrance. I want to stay away from those types of bars. The meats are flying to the upside. Yes, I think, and you guys let me know too. I mean, this isn't the, the Andy show. You guys got your TradingView charts too. So scroll through, let me know if you see something you like on the hourly chart that fits our congestion playbook theme, and we'll take a look. The best one I could see for this next 11 o'clock hour that I like maybe is wheat. That's kind of the only one. And we are in, and it depends on where that closes as well. I don't even know what month we're in for wheat. Let me just go check. So wheat, we are in we're rolling over from May to July. So we're probably in July. ZWN 25. ZWN 5. There's wheat. Got it. I'm just bringing it up on my Tradeify, just in case. It's not looking like we're going to take it, but, just want to prepare so that had it given us a good buy, I was ready. But now you see it's breaking through support. So this is why it's always good, guys, just to wait for the closes, It's like, it's not respecting these DMLs. Now, all of a sudden, this looks a lot more like a trend run down on wheat, right? You are in congestion, though, on wheat, I got to say. And look at that extension down there, that extension support DML at 54.12. That's kind of close to the daily extension down there. So that's kind of interesting. But that's a pretty wide congestion zone. So I probably wouldn't take it, but it's still an interesting area to watch. So back to MinDrive, are there any preferred alignments you like with congestion and extension DMLs? Yeah, I mean, look, when they stack up, they're stronger, right? So for sure, it's more meaningful. Look at corn here, especially like you'll learn how to use these together, like on the hourly there, corn, right? Your extension's way down here, but in this case, your reaction support level is below you. These are a zone I would consider as support. But then on the 15-minute, you got that beautiful extension right there. You got that congestion. So sometimes, like, let's go back to, I think NQ might have had. Yeah, so like NQ here, your zone of your extension, even though you broke that congestion, that's a zone. And then your live one, there's your zone. So yeah, they're important. The more of these DMLs that overlap, it definitely makes, the spot stronger. For sure. Let's watch wheat. CL looks like going 61.25. Let's go check it out. Sure looks like it's pretty weak right now, that's for sure. I don't know where it's going, but it's nothing. I wouldn't buy or sell it. Just because for me, it's, not part of my congestion week playbook. You see, and this is also good to show you guys, right? Like now it's our theme of the week is congestion. So then I just show you how to trade congestion. And then you also get to see how you stick to a trading plan, right? You don't get sucked into all the other stuff. I'm not saying you did, Supreme. I'm just saying this is good practice for you guys to, learn how to follow a specific approach. And look, today, that trade on ES was awesome. And then the trade on corn we just missed would have been awesome. Like 2 nice winning trades today. It's like, what else do you need, right? Like, what a day. 2 and done, 1 and done. Make the money, get out. So now you can see you're setting up for on ES. That's a little resistance pocket. That might cause price to go down. You're in congestion, but I'm just not taking it with the daily pushing higher like this. So you guys are starting to see how I filter out these trades, right? Like I want to stack the probabilities on my side. That's how you make consistent money as a trader. So yeah, this congestion resistance level, you got your pocket, not bad. It could drive price down like that. It definitely could, guys. But I'm not going to short it because the daily right now is bullish. That might change, but right now that's what I'm seeing. So I don't want to short against that. Instead, I would rather hope that this knocks this down. Look at all these extension DMLs down here. What if on the 12 o'clock hour, if we got to push down here, that'd be a great buy, right? So that's what I would be waiting for. When you start to use the higher time period to structure your intraday trades around your playbook, and guys, you can do this on anything, right? Congestion, like if I go to the higher time period charts here, everything I'm teaching you is fractal. So let's say, you have a job, you don't have time to sit here and day trade. Guys, no big deal at all. Just maybe what you want to do is scroll through your daily charts every single night and look for really good congestion setups that align with the weekly and the monthly. You do the same thing as we're doing here, right? So you can use these playbooks any way you want. Let's go back to wheat real quick. Yeah, so wheat, I wouldn't take this because now on the daily you're in no man's land. We're kind of trending down here. So wheat is definitely invalidated. So I didn't see anything good for the 11 o'clock hour that I liked, and for the 12 o'clock hour, it's more about, I would say like on ES, for example, if this could bomb down there like that, and ES can do that sometimes, and the 15-minute confirmed, and all those extensions, these are really important to see all these stacked up. That could be definitely a good exhaust for a move back inside the range. And that would still be congestion. You would just be expanding the congestion support level from here down to here, which, just gives you a potential bigger target back up to there. So this is how you anticipate. Nice, Supreme. You got the notebook. I love it. All right, guys. So I'm gonna pretty much leave it there. We had a fantastic trade on ES live and made 1,100 bucks on that on 8 micros on that Tradeify account. Corn was a great opportunity we just missed. Tomorrow we're gonna start a little earlier, closer to the 9 o'clock hour. And look, we're looking to follow our congestion playbook. Teach you guys the VolPro Edge playbook one step at a time. And I feel really good about it. So let me know if you guys have any questions. I'll be monitoring Discord, the members area for the rest of the day. So if you guys see setups, just know that I highly advise you stay in congestion week mindset, right? So you guys should all now the whole rest of the week, even when I'm done live streaming, for those of you who are watching your screens, talk about the congestion setups you're seeing on the hourly chart. If you like it or you don't like it, let's make all you guys become congestion like savants this week, right? Like just master congestion. You're good, right? But then we're going to obviously extend the playbook. But I would suggest that. try to focus on, you know, what the theme of the week is, because it's really important. Yeah, reinforce one setup. That's how you guys are going to really, really, really dial in. And I'm not saying like, you know, scalper, he gets a lot of good trades on his EM. Still post that kind of stuff for sure. Share with each other. I'm going to upload his videos later that he sent me with EMAs and all that and show you how he uses it. That's great. I'm just saying, like, since the theme of the week is congestion, like, try to make that the majority of the trading chat this week. Just following these hourlies on all these markets, who's seeing what. You guys might find great trades for each other, right? Like, I'll come back from surfing and you guys will be like, oh man, we were talking through. We all agreed that this one was great because it was in line. And then I'll look and be like, yeah, you guys nailed that one. Or, oh, hey, I wouldn't have taken this because of this and this. So this is what's going to make you guys, you know, become awesome traders, right? Because now we're putting the theory into practice. All right. So 5 minutes, you guys, 5 minutes, questions, you know, comments, whatever. Tell me how you feel about the playbook themed streaming. I love it. I feel much more dialed in. I'll just wait a few minutes here for you guys to, you know, chime in with anything. Yeah, exactly. You are learning even if you're not taking a trade. But today we did take a trade. So, you know, that was Tim Nossi, were you here when we took the trade or no? I see what you mean. You guys are seeing me. Okay, so yeah, so we took a trade today on ES. I took it on this Tradeify account on 8 micros, made about 1,100 bucks. So that was the trade that we actually took. And I don't know, it was back in here, the time of it was right there. We got, you know, lucky buying the low there. They had a limit order, bought the low and took profit up in here. You can go back and watch the archives, you'll see it. But yeah, no, we took a trade. It was great. We would have taken corn, but I was just a little late to the party. So we're going to start a little earlier tomorrow, guys, closer to the 9 o'clock hour. And yeah, so, and then you also do get to see all the trades I'm not taking because I'm filtering them out because I don't like them. And you learn just as much from those that I'm not taking, right? That's super duper important. Oh, no, no worries, D. You go back. We had a really nice trade live on the stream. You can go check that out when you look at the archives. But congestion week is going to be fantastic. You guys are going to learn a lot. I mean, look at how much you learned today, just by all these trades, right? So super sale going on. Okay, cool. I'll check that out. I went ahead and I downgraded my TradingView from expert for 120 a month, and I took it down to premium because I don't need their tick data. I'll run the tick data on Sierra when that's ready. My developer's working on it for you guys. Whoever wants to run tick data, you go on Sierra. But the minute charts for TradingView are fine. And at some point, TradingView will fix this where we can do something more than a 1,000 tick chart. Then you'll be able to run all the VolPro Edge stuff on the tick charts on TradingView. But for now, I would not recommend getting the expert package for 120 a month. It's like, it's not necessary. So look, here's ES. This would be my recommendation to you guys when I head off to the beach. Watch these extensions down here. This may want to punch down here, give you a very nice kind of flash, right? And then watch your live DMLs out here. Watch the 15. You could potentially be setting up for something like this. Keep an eye on the scoreboard, right? Bonds are still nicely bid. That is support in the market. Somebody's buying US debt, right? Copper, platinum, industrial metals, really important. Silver as well. These are all green. That's risk on. Crude's not really down much. No big deal. So in an environment like this, you'd love to see this bomb down here like that for the reversal back up, right? But use all the levels. Very, very important, guys. Okay. All right, 2 minutes. Any last questions, you guys? Been here for about 2 hours, and you know, we had a couple of fantastic opportunities. One of them caught live, and you know, that's where we're at. Nice job, Supreme. Nailed it. 61.25. Mindrive, you wouldn't consider any long. I mean, I wouldn't, because I'm waiting for the next hourly close. But yeah, I mean, look, you got all these DMLs here, sure, but I would say if you're entertaining the idea of taking these DMLs here before the hourly closes, then you at least should, you know, wait for 15-minute closes and see what the 15-minute wants to do. I just think it's easier, and it's mentally less taxing to wait for the hourly close, and then that way you're not like, because a lot of people, their biggest problem is like, you know, they're like so if you just get a game plan, stick to it, wait for the closes, it's really going to anchor your being, so that like you'll be able to watch the charts with way less anxiety, right? And you just let your setups come to you, especially when you got the playbook that we've got, and you just follow the playbook. That's what I would do. And one reason I probably hear Mindrive, yeah, you got support, but for now, you are coming out of an hourly resistance pocket. I would not want to go long against that pocket, because that pocket has the potential to drive us down and through those lows. Not saying it's going to, but it's got the potential. So, and I would just be of the mindset that if this thing smashed down here and the scoreboard over here still looked good with risk on, then I think that would be a gift if the 15-minute was confirming to buy it back up into the range like that. Does that make sense? So that's how I would look at that. Yeah, exactly. And look, here's the thing too, right? When we bought, these are so important notes for you guys. It's good that you ask questions, because then when I answer, you know, I teach more. When we bought down here, guys, where did we buy? Look at all these congestion lows. We bought near the lows, so our risk was much tighter and our reward was greater. If you were to buy here, you got to ask yourself, where does your stop need to be? Okay, it could be below these DMLs right here, but then your stop is within the range of these lows. Like that's not good risk to reward. So it's not a smart place to get in. Does that make sense? In congestion, you want to get in near the highs and lows of the range, or just outside the range, like here, if you're expanding the range to new lows or new highs. Yeah, cool. All right, guys, I'm going to call it. Great trade, great day. We're off to a great start for congestion week, and I will see you all in the Discord later. Spider-Man, really good breakdown. Cheers, lots of bits. Thanks, man. Happy to hear that. Yeah, you guys are going to keep picking up bits every single day, and now we got more structure for setting up the playbooks. You guys are going to be, you know, getting it. So thanks, you guys. And guys, we got 9 likes and 21 people. Give me some likes before we shut down. I hate to sound like a YouTube, you know what? I was going to say a very bad word. I didn't want to say it, but anyways, you guys can like it after I shut it down, but I appreciate the likes. It does help. Yeah. All right, guys, I'll see you in the Discord. Cheers. I'm out. Tomorrow morning, we start earlier. I'll remind you guys tomorrow, okay? And I'll schedule the stream now for tomorrow.